And we're back once again, only on its after hours, only on Full Swap Radio. And joining me here on location, this young lady here. Well, a lot of big things are happening as she is. She had a big past August, and a lot of with her inner nerd day, and she's only going stronger here. She's not only has her own Pornhub page, her OnlyFans, her many vids, but she's also shooting via one-on-one modeling, and a lot of people want to hire her because she's multi-talented in many different ways. I give the sexy, the beautiful, but the as she calls it, the inner nerd herself. I give you Riley Gina. So Riley, let's start off here with you actually can develop your own software. I mean, you are a self-taught
So
software
I,
developer. So how much does that help, like knowing
I
like the
always,
editing, all this stuff, and not going, okay, I have
oh,
no
not
idea
at
how to
all.
edit this stuff and stuff.
No, no, no. It definitely like doesn't help with editing. And I wouldn't like, I've always said I'm mostly self-taught because I took a C# class and I got about halfway through that class when I started like teaching myself everything because I just was like, I kind of hyper fixated on it. And then that was kind of when I became self-taught.
You still know at least like coding and like
Yeah.
what software to use and all that. So when you're looking for editors and people to help you, it's not like you're going, yeah, can you just edit this or what do you have to do? I don't know, just make it look pretty. You can at least go like, I want this, this, and this, and this. I want 4K. I want the background noise. Like, at least how much does it help
Yeah.
you like
It,
figure out who actually can do it?
So the two, I mean, they have like nothing to do with, at least for me, like it definitely does not have it doesn't impact like how I edit or if I'm looking for an editor. Like I I don't like front end coding, which would be the kind of coding that would help me with like design and kind of editing and knowing all of that. I've always preferred the back end of it. So that's the more like technical side of it, which doesn't really have anything to do with like editing and all of that kind of stuff.
So how does it help them? Because I'm guessing it does must help knowing at least being a software developer. Even as I said, you did take class online on these online self help talk class, but does it at least help like knowing stuff and understanding? Okay, this is how long it's going to take. This is what I need to look for. Like, does it at least help you when you're
Um,
doing your own many vids to like figure out what you're looking
I
for?
Yeah, I will say I think because I have like that background with like in particular I think it especially helps knowing with how like websites work. So I kind of know how to market my stuff to where it will, if I wanted it to, it could go through SEO on Google. If I wanted to like build a website for myself to host my content, I could. And I could do it to where it would be seen on Google because I have that knowledge of how that works. So I, and I guess having an understanding of how algorithms works also helps because you kind of, with all the different social media platforms, you have to sort of figure out the algorithms, and having that from tech, that knowledge on those comes in handy.
So what got you into this in the first place? Because software developers, they can make buku bucks. I mean, everybody wants to have a software developer or even somebody who knows software developing because you can make a website look pretty, as even the most stupid people like me could say. So what made you decide to get into the adult industry when you could probably make a lot more money as a developer to like just like going, oh yeah, well I'm gonna charge this, and this to make this website look pretty, and people like me will go, all right, yeah, well, that sounds good. Here's our money. Just take it. Take it. Make our website look pretty.
I I think it was a mix of a couple of things. It was I had been doing it so intensely because I was so fixated on it that I burnt out. Um and I was selling pictures and like posting pictures of myself on Reddit since I was 18 or 19. So I was doing no face, and I was editing out my tattoos. I had less tattoos back then, but I would edit out my tattoos, and I kind of found like my first agent, which was AMA in Florida, on accident because I didn't know what Sexy Jobs was. I thought it was kind of just a bulletin board to buy and sell custom videos. I had no idea that it was like a booking site or like a recruiting site. I didn't know it was any of that. And then that was when Brian had reached out to me and was like, I want to fly you to Florida to do porn. And I was 22 and very petty at the time, and I was very pissed off at my now ex-boyfriend. And I was like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll do it. And I flew down to Florida within like I think it was like 6 or 7 hours after that phone call. And I remember like calling Brian in the airport crying because I was just so nervous. Because it was definitely a big jump from like a mostly solitary job to realizing that now I'm doing a job that is not solitary, but is also going to be seen by a lot of people. So he definitely helped like calm me down when I was in the airport and got me to Florida, and I ended up really liking it.
And as soon as you go down, all of a sudden COVID hits. And then it's like,
Yes.
mother. So how tough was that where it's like you just get started, all of a sudden, no, there it is. COVID. And the whole thing
I
shuts down.
am
Like,
I'm not even like I'm not gonna lie. I think for a long time I was actually very bitter about it because I was doing very well, and then COVID hit, and then the moratorium happened, and nobody was shooting. And I was like, this is just my goddamn luck. Like, of course, I get into this thing that I like, and then I'm somehow like doing really well in something that I never really saw myself as like a physically like able person to do porn. It never connected in my head. So I was bitter about it, I think, for a long time. I was like, I felt like it was like my chance to be successful was kind of like taken from me. But again, now I'm kind of like restarting again at 25, and I like it a lot better because I feel like I'm just not as naive and like I don't know. I was angry about it for a long time, but I think now I'm very grateful that it happened.
so as soon as COVID hit, you start, you basically pivot. Next thing you know, you're doing OnlyFans, you're doing many vids, you're shooting your own stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, It's fun, but it's also a lot of work. So for you, like, how much work was it when all of a sudden it's like, okay, I gotta get creative. I gotta, keep having content, gotta feed the beast, gotta keep, doing solo shoots, gotta do collabs, gotta do this. And you're like, you find yourself running ragged because you're always trying to keep up with the content.
And that was definitely, and to this day still is something that I struggle a lot with is I will get episodes where I'm just like on it. I'm like on my OnlyFans, I'm messaging everybody, like I'm filming, and then I just crash for like weeks. And because I don't have anybody running any of my social media accounts, I also went from like having no social media to having to have all social media. So I get very overwhelmed with it. And definitely through COVID, my OnlyFans has been just a like constant, very like up, down, up, down, up, down. And then I I was actually very surprised. My most recent time where I really fell off was back in January. I went to rehab. Obviously, I could not have my phone in rehab, and I got out and I was just like terrified. I had posted what was going on, and I told them where I would be and that I would be back. I had posts like scheduled. Um, but I did definitely take a big hit when I was gone for like, a good month and a half. And it was surprising to me that I was sort of able to build it back up and still kind of get people to want to watch me, especially because I was like so vocal about why I was going away, which like in hindsight I probably wouldn't, do again. But yeah, I kind of spent the whole time in there thinking I scared everyone away, and I was like, oh my God, like I've totally screwed myself with like trying to be open and honest.
I'm glad you brought that up. For you, when you were now saying, I go to rehab, I gotta get myself fixed here. How much is that also the mental health part where and it goes with a lot of celebrities where you get hooked on something and you're trying to,
Mhm.
you keep aside, oh, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. It's like, no, 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 this is where I'm going down the deep end here. I need help. So for you, like, how much
Yeah.
of this was also like the mental health part where it's like, all right, I gotta admit I have a problem, or else this is gonna keep on going again and again and again and again, and it's just like on the
You know,
hamster wheel.
I did not recognize it as a problem because for me, when I had first started, it helped me. It helped me with so much, but obviously as, you know, things like that go, it eventually takes over, and it did. And what really sort of tipped me into realizing like I needed to go into rehab was I my last breakup put me in a really bad bender because I was very afraid for a lot of reasons, and I was constantly having sleep paralysis, and I couldn't think of anything to do other than just to try and numb myself as much as possible. And I had FaceTimed one of my closest friends, and she was just sobbing. Like she thought I was dead because she hadn't heard from me. Another one of my friends reached out to a family member and was like, hey, something's not right with her. And luckily, like, I was, despite as being as out of my mind as I was able to be like, okay, like I need to get myself somewhere or I am going to die. Like it really wasn't like an option at that point, like it had been in the past. Before, I always had a handle on it. At that point, I didn't, and I was able to see that and be like, okay, I need to get a handle on this or I'm done. Yeah, the mental health part of it is big.
I know some adult performers have told me that being on OnlyFans is helpful with mental health because you at least you're engaged with people, even though
Um,
you have to still keep a facade of I'm this person, but you're Riley Jean, but you're actually Riley. Like there's still help, like just having people to talk to. So there's at least
so
like not as you said for you, not this like long periods of just nobody talking, and you're just like in your own head.
kind of yes and no. Eventually it became a yes, but it started as a no because I would always thought like you had to have this certain persona, so you always had to like play pretend. And I have the tattoo on the side of my arm, which is now very ironic. And it says this is just part I portray. And it's kind of been this thing like playing characters all the time is very exhausting. And so um now I do find some comfort in like the communication with like I don't like the word fans, like with the people who enjoy my content and who want to talk to me. But it does at a point kind of get to my head where I'm like, these people don't even really know my real name, and some of them are like professing their love to me, and it's like you have no idea who I am. It's so it can be kind of dehumanizing in a way for me. Like it's, and I don't want to sound ungrateful by saying that at all. It's just like I think for me mentally, it's very important that I have people around me that are like, yeah, no, you are a human still. Like you are not just this caricature of what Riley Jean is or anything like that. Like it's very important to for me to like hold on to like some semblance of humanity.
So who knows you? Like who are and how tough is that having friends in the adult industry when
I
forget
don't.
about just your, just your say issues and everything like we all do. Like it's a bit of a cutthroat business because everybody's trying to get their certain roles, certain dollars, certain
Yeah.
places. Everybody sometimes there's paranoia at times. There's porn star versus content creator who wants to hang out with
Oh my
who. So for
gosh. Yeah.
yeah, so how tough is it having people that you can trust that that you're friendly with and they want to hang out with you not just because you do great content, but they actually just like you.
The it's I for I will always say porn has made me very jaded. I used to be a very like trusting off the bat person, and now I kind of always assume people have like ulterior motives. So it's definite I really don't interact with a lot of people in the industry. I'm my boyfriend is in the industry, but the friends that I've made are actually more on the content creator side as opposed to like the mainstream porn side. I have, I would say, more acquaintances than friends. Like, I don't know that there's many people within this industry that I would say are is like a I would call in like a desperate time of need and like go to for advice. But like there are plenty of people who I'm like cool with and will hang out with. But I always have like a guard up around them because I never know. Like I've had some horrible experiences with people where, you think they're your friend and you tell them all these things and the next thing you know, like all of these things you told them are online. And you're like, that was like all of my secrets that you've just thrown out there. So, um, I think it's kind of made me like scared to trust a lot of people. But the people in my life now I do trust wholeheartedly. And I adore the people who I kind of started to surround myself with as of lately.
What's more fun? Forget about profitable. What's for you? What's more fun? Doing your own content creating where you get to do, as they say, you get to shop for the groceries, cook the food, serve the dinner, or going on porn set where it's like, all right, I'm just here, get my makeup done, I'm getting some food, I had sex, and then I can leave. I don't have to stay around, pack up the equipment, worry about getting the paperwork, making sure the lighting's good. Like for you, what's more fun?
I think that they are both fun, but in different ways. I Nowadays I definitely have a lot more fun with content creation. I think it's because I explore a lot of fetish communities, so that's not something that mainstream really does a lot of. And unless I'm like on set and I'm actually I find myself on mainstream sets almost having more fun when I'm booked as an extra than as a talent because then I get to kind of like perform and act. Whereas when I make my own content, it's like exactly what I want it to be. And it's who I want it to be with. And so it's just, to me, it feels more organic and natural and fun.
How much acting do you do in your own stuff? I mean, how much? How because as you said, you had your. We mentioned before you were the nerdy girl. You did a nerd sort of day on August 23rd. So how much do you enjoy for you the acting part when you do your own content creating? You get to think of it's like, is it going to be new scenes? I'm going to do some role play. I'm going to
Oh,
even have like storylines.
I have so much fun with it. I Back in Florida, this was like right before I went into rehab. I was doing like customs constantly. I was cranking them out. And people were sending me like some of the funnest ideas, like videos that I still have and like will sell because like they, kind of want me to talk to the camera and pretend that I'm talking to them. And, some of them come up like one of them wanted me to pretend I was like a student trying to, get out of being caught cheating on a test. And then, I love when these guys give me these ideas and they're like, I just want a solo video, but I want you to sort of focus on this scenario. I think I have a blast with that. I love doing those. Like the acting stuff is super fun for me.
So take me to like your favorite ever acting custom where you went full out and it's like, I enjoy this. This is fun. I want to do more of it.
Um, so I'm very submissive. So for me, I have a lot of fun with the customs where I can sort of play on that and I can sort of try and like the professor one, I'm having to beg to this guy, please, please, please don't tell whoever, like, I can't remember what the whole premise was, but it was, please don't do that. Like, I'll do this. Like, I promise, like, in this case, I'll set this dildo and pretend it's you and like, we'll be good. And you don't have to tell anybody about me. Like, yeah, that's fun. Um, I think, yeah, like those kinds are fun.
it's a lot of work though, because you gotta get into it. You gotta find people who can do it. And aren't like sounding wooden. Like how tough is that? Like
Um, so
finding people who can do this.
like I said, a lot of the stuff that I do is solo. A lot of the custom requests that I get tend to be solo. And generally, if they aren't, I have a very select group of people that I am comfortable working with. I've had some very bad experiences in the past working with people who, I thought I could trust, and I realized later on I made a horrible mistake in trusting them. And, now I'm much more careful and I'm much more cautious. So I tend to prefer like the girl requests if I get them, or solo requests, or um boy girls are fun. I do those with my boyfriend, and we just it's for me, I like whatever request I get, but I do make sure to tell whoever's buying it that it's like there's you don't have free reign to pick like whatever talent you want, because there's a good chance that I haven't worked with them, and if I haven't worked with them, I don't want that to be the first time. Like I'd prefer to work with somebody on a professional set first and kind of see how they are. So it's very difficult to order anything other than like a girl or a solo from me, because I'm very, very picky.
Tell me about the boyfriend. How did you two meet?
So he
Uh,
he DM'd me on Twitter. He's in the industry as well. He's Jimmy Collins. He's in the industry. He's great and he's phenomenal. He's so sweet, very encouraging. I've had, two other boyfriends in the past in the industry, and neither of them were supportive of what I do like he is. He is very supportive of what I do, and it makes the job itself a lot easier, I think. Like because it gets very like lonely sometimes, and like you have this weird shame, but when you have somebody, especially a partner who is supportive of you, um that shame feeling goes away, and you just kind of get to feel proud of the art that you create versus the guilt that you will inevitably think yourself into, like if you're just by yourself.
how nice is that having somebody who has your back? I mean, it sounds corny, and everybody
it,
talks to who has a husband, significant other, they say, but that's one of the most important things, that they know they can trust him.
it's I've never had that like I do with him, and I'm very thankful for it, because it is very nice to have somebody who like you said, I know I can trust, and who has my back and who has my best interests in mind, who also forces me to kind of reflect within myself and look at my own behaviors that maybe have gone unchecked in the past, that are not acceptable, and better myself. He's phenomenal.
So what's the future for you in terms of like what you want to accomplish next 6 months, next year? Because you have everything. As you said, you're in a good headspace. You have your gimmick, which is the nerd porn. You do your own solo videos. You've done the pro. You've done the content creating. What's on your bucket list that you want to do?
I don't really know. I just posted on Twitter today, like when I hit 30K, I'm gonna light my pussy on fire. Um, so like that's gonna be fun. My friend texted me like right away, and she was like, I know somebody, and so we have this kind of thing planned for that. But it's just I think um just being able to do fun things like that, things that aren't what you see every single day. I'm excited to I you know I want to kind of branch out maybe and try and like try and write some porn scripts because I love writing. I think it's super fun. I've done it a couple times before and it's always been fun. So I want to try maybe explore the other side of the camera a little bit.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're very happy to have here on the show. I give you the beautiful, but talented, very down to earth. I give you it's Miss Riley Jean. So, Riley, before we let you go, where can fans check you out at? Where is Twitter, the OnlyFans, the many vids, Instagram, X, I
So
guess now. Like, where can fans hit you up at?
my Twitter, my bio has a link tree which has everything. So my Twitter is Throat God X, but instead of O's, there's zeros. Um, and then my link tree has like my Pornhub, my OnlyFans, my ManyVids, my Lover Fans. It has absolutely everything you could possibly want.
Riley Jean, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always an honor, pleasure have you on the show. We come back. We got a lot more going on here, only on It's After Hours, only on Full Swap Radio.